All right, so
I'm excited for this next segment,
Yeah,
fellas.
we're going to move on to this next segment, and you know what, Steve? I'm going to let you introduce it because this is your baby, man.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is a segment we're going to keep on doing or not, but it was just something that,
I'm
we've
not
been
opposed
seeing.
to it.
Yeah, we've been seeing it all season long, and I follow 5 or 6 different Dolphins pages, and each one is pretty much the same. So I just opened up one of the 5, groups that I follow, and I got 15 within 5 minutes. I found 15 negative comments. So I gave each guy has 5 comments that I gave. I'm not going to give all 5 comments. I'm going to kind of give 1 and 2 here and there. We're going to move on depending on what kind of time we have and how long this takes. Maybe we'll do a second round. But for now, I'm going to start off with Keith. And I think I did these banners. Oh, no, I did not. Okie dokie. So to this day, the best quarterback the Dolphins has had since Dan Marino was Jay Fiedler.
Jesus.
And then
out of here.
The next one I see would be this one. Here's the deal with Tua. He has some elite skills, but definitely not good enough to not draft a QB. What do you think about these two, Keith? Is Jay Fiedler really the best thing we've had since Dan Marino? And
No,
are we ready to draft a QB this draft?
I'm not ready to draft a QB this draft. I'm not ready to move on from Tua, and this is even taking into account all of his injuries, Steve. Now, I've said this in the past. The guy that there's 2 guys I've always compared Tua to. And true Fins fan, I understand what you're saying. Fiedler 33 and 15 is a starter. Let's not pretend that the vast majority of those 33 wins came off the back of that stellar Dolphins defense.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking Sam Madison, Patrick Surtain, Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor, Tim Bowens, Brock Marion. That defense was unbelievable and wasted on a terrible Miami Dolphins offense, helmed by Jay Fiedler. Now, let me just say this: there's been a couple quarterbacks that I've always compared Tua to, and it may not seem, fair or even true that I should compare him to them, but the 2 quarterbacks I've always compared Tua to are Peyton Manning and Drew Brees. Now, these are both guys that came out of college. Neither of them had elite athletic traits where they could, have escapability and run around a bunch. They had not ideal arm strength. They had just okay arms coming out of college. But what they did was they threw with a great amount of accuracy and anticipation. But in the NFL, as opposed to college, that's something that takes a while to hone. Peyton Manning didn't win his first playoff game until he was in his 6th year in the NFL. Drew Brees didn't really hit his stride until his last year in San Diego, and then he became a monster in New Orleans. These guys take a little bit of time to fully figure it out in the NFL. Tua is figuring it out, and you can tell he's getting better and better. Some of the throws he made in that Bills game, some of the throws he made in this past Rams game show you what kind of quarterback Tua can be, if he reaches his full potential. And I still don't think he's done that yet. So, yeah. And Jay Fiedler being the best quarterback in Dolphin since Dan Marino is ridiculous. It's Tua. It's absolutely Tua.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right, Josh. So these ones are for you. So I got 2 right here. The season is over. I hope we lose every game from now on so we can get a real quarterback in the draft. Now, this was just before the game. This was literally an hour or 2 before kickoff. On top of that, so this is the one I want you to really kind of think of and hit on. So can we agree that Flores indeed is a better head coach than Mike McDaniels? Numbers don't lie. Now, I'm not saying you need to have these numbers, and they're obviously 2 totally different coaching styles.
I don't need numbers.
But, yeah, is Flores indeed a better coach?
All right, I'm going to start with the first one. No. If you're a fan of a team and you hope that you actively lose, you are not a fan of a team. Yeah. I don't care. We were in that season where we won a single game with Cleo Lemon. Mm-hmm. Like every single game I went into, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's this time. I don't want us to lose. Are you kidding? It's miserable losing. why the heck would I want to actively wish for that? Not to mention, there's one potential okay quarterback in this upcoming draft, and I don't think I don't think it's Cam Ward or Sanders. I think it's the quarterback from LSU. I'm blanking on his name right now, who I think is probably going to be the best quarterback in the draft.
Okay.
This is not the draft to do so. If there was like an Andrew Luck, maybe. Don't lose, but okay, if we get into the top 5, then we can move some pieces around and try to land our friend another quarterback if Tua doesn't pan out. But I'm a huge Tua fan, so I'm the wrong guy to be asking about this. Now, I don't think we have enough time to talk about the Flores thing. I think, Steve, you did this.
I gave this to you on purpose.
Stuff on purpose, and I both love you for it and I hate you for it, because I don't have enough time to talk about this. Look, to true Fins fans' point of view, which we can pop up later, Flores does not belong in the same sentence, in my opinion. For me, Flores is a phenomenal, a top tier, top 2, top 3 defensive coordinator, defensive mind, defensive scheme, defensive coordinator, in my opinion. He has no necessary qualities or needed things to be a head coach in this league. And that is something that I will die on until my dying breath. He burnt through his relationship. If you think about a head coach, and I'm going to use an old term that I'm sure not a lot of our listeners are going to remember, but there was a thing called a Rolodex, right? Where back in the day you would have this Rolodex thing, and you would keep that. It was kind of like a planner, like where you would have everyone's phone number. And head coaches have a proverbial Rolodex from a relationship standpoint. So they make these relationships as they progress through their coaching careers so that they can call upon them if they get promoted or if they need to hire someone. In 2 years, Flores essentially burnt through every single person that would deal with him. Could not make a hire on the offensive side of the ball, could not make a hire on the defensive side of the ball outside of his mind, could not make a hire on special. Just a horrible head coach. Was horrible with the players, was a horrible personnel from a decision standpoint. I have never been a fan of Flores as a head coach. Now, you want a good defensive coordinator to a great defensive coordinator, Flores is your guy, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I believe so too.
And I could go on for hours about this.
I remember the first time I saw Flores smile, I thought like there was a trick being played on us or something.
All right, Anthony. So this one, the current players have no heart for this team. And then we need a QB, an owner, GM, and a coach. Yes. And obviously, I believe I gave this one to you for a reason.
Let's go.
Do you believe that we need a new GM?
Yes, Anthony.
Coach,
what do you think?
Owner and quarterback.
Let me address the other one first. I do think there is some truth to the current players have no heart for this great team. I do think there are some players who... We just saw one get let go in David Long. I do think there are some players who look like they're more in it for the glamour and glitz than they are for the actual game itself. And then maybe that just comes with being in Miami. I have no idea. I think we've talked about this pretty well. We've covered, Tua and Waddle and Tyreek laughing on the sideline during a 30-point loss and stuff. It's like, we don't want to see that as fans, regardless of the fact we know it's just a job for them, right? We're not numb to the fact that this is just a job, just like we have our jobs. But man, if I'm at my job and I just shut down an entire server because I pushed a bad piece of code, I am not laughing and smiling on the sideline, right? Like that's not happening. So I do think there's some truth to that one. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't. But yeah. Let's get to the bread and butter one. We need a QB, an owner, a GM, and a coach. One at a time. Quarterback, no. We have Tua. He is a franchise quarterback for whatever that means. We're paying him like one, so regardless, if you didn't want him, there's no choice. Because if we cut him, we would literally have no salary cap. So you're stuck with him. I will say to the other one that talked about like drafting a guy, I'm a believer in drafting a quarterback every year. Quite frankly, I don't want to see Skylar Thompson behind Tua anymore. So if we're drafting a guy to be a backup, let's see it. So Do we need a quarterback? No. Do we need a new owner? Absolutely not. This guy pours every dime possible into this team. You could
Yeah.
not ask for a better
I
owner.
was hoping you were going to say
1,000,000,000%.
Absolutely, Anthony. Yes.
Yep.
It makes no sense. Like, when I hear somebody say this, I know that they're either a troll or they just have no idea what they're talking about.
Yep.
Because go ask Bengals fans if they would rather have Stephen Ross as their freaking owner.
Go ask Dallas.
Like,
go ask Dallas.
Go ask Dallas, right?
Yeah. Yeah, good one. Yeah.
Like, Jerry won't even pay CeeDee Lamb. It took him till right before the season started to pay. They haven't paid Micah Parsons. Like, Stephen Ross would never do that. If we had a Micah Parsons, he would have been paid 2 years before he was supposed to. Like, it just, no. We have one of the best owners in football. Do we need a better coach? I'm on the fence with that one. McDaniel this year, I think the honeymoon period is over. I think that our buddy True Fin fan has been right about a lot of things that I, at the beginning of the season, probably would have vehemently denied.
Yeah.
But having, like, the quarterback situation with no Tua, the coaching didn't change enough to salvage any games. We barely won the one against New England, which we probably didn't deserve to because of a bad call by the refs, or it wasn't a bad call by them, but a stupid rule, let's say. And we would have lost that one too. So the coach thing, I'm on the fence. The GM thing, I'm not as down on Greer as a lot of people, but he has been around for like 15 years and we've won nothing. So I don't know anybody with that much job security after having won nothing. So I would like to see a change at GM.
Same.